Welcome back to my channel. My name's Mackenzie. I am a certified hypnotherapist and a past life healer. And I found someone off TikTok, Brett, to be my victim for the day. I'm just kidding, not my victim. But he did volunteer to do some past life work with me today. So my relationship with Brett is from TikTok only. We do not know each other personally, but I do have a feeling we have some past life connections between us. I just think so. The reason why I'm doing this video today is I want to take you all through what a past life healing session looks like, because it is so much more than just trying to figure out who you were. It's much more complex and technical than that. What I've noticed with the majority of people that have ended up on my calendar is that they're just hitting this point in their soul journey where they're just so vastly aware that there is just so much more to their current existence. And this is part of the ascension process where we're really starting to dismantle and remove all of these layers from an energetic standpoint, layer by layer, so we can truly step into the form in which we want to create here on Earth. We've gone through a lot of different reincarnations, experiencing the earth plane through these low vibrational emotions, such as grief, sadness, fear, anxiety. But as we start moving forward, we really need to shed these old realities that we're carrying with us, including the ones that we carry with us from our past life. So it really doesn't matter what you want to work on. Spirit, at the end of the day, is going to provide the information and do the healing work. I'm simply the vessel for it. So every session, again, does look a little bit different, but I'm going to take Brett through this. I have no idea, nor does he, what's going to come up or even why. Sometimes it seems irrelevant, but then at the end, it kind of clicks. I was like, oh, okay. I had no idea that it was this connection creating this conflict right now in my life, but just through the simple observation and the intention of releasing that and letting it go, that's when we start, like I said, removing those energetic layers from your energy, so you can start experiencing this life in a completely new paradigm. So that being said, Brett, what would you, and if you don't know, that's fine, but what would you like to work on today?
So is it something that like maybe in this life that I want to understand better why I am that way, kind of?
Right. And it could be anything, because some people just want to learn a little bit more about where they're at from a soul journey, bring some clarity to where they are. I usually recommend if there's a specific conflict going on in your life, that
Hmm.
tends to kind of bring the most profound change.
I would say it's like my hesitancy slash like procrastination with my career and like I take
Okay.
risks. Like I feel like I have definitely a major blockage with putting myself out there, or like I'll get somewhere, I'll get to some level of like success, and then I self-sabotage, or I almost like get my big break on something and then something happens. It's like it's a constant pattern with me.
Okay, so the pattern of being like, you kind of make it to where you finally want to be, and then it just in some way and fashion dismantles itself.
Yeah. Or I'll do something to procrastinate and self-sabotage it. And
Okay, I'm just writing all this down. And I am going to talk a little bit more than I usually would in a past life session. I just kind of get this information, like just very generic, and move on. But for the sake of education and those watching this, I'm going to go into that a little bit, because this is where hypnotherapy can be extremely profound too, because you have to understand, when you start observing those type of behaviors and actions, somewhere, somehow, there was a program created that's sitting in your subconscious that believes that that's benefiting you for some reason, and you want to find out why. Now, it could be past life. There's always a connection, but it's not uncommon that those type of issues do stem from this lifetime as well. And so there could be a safety there. For example, I actually had this very exact thing happen, and it took me a while to get over it. But I know this sounds wild, but it was truly my fear of being killed. I did not want to stand out, especially when it came to presenting myself in a public forum with these gifts, because I've had so many incarnations, including the one right before this one, where I was killed because of these gifts. It wasn't an accepted thing. And this started coming up for me years ago when I also started doing past life healing work, because I was just so resistant to bringing these gifts out. I was so resistant to trusting my intuition, but subconsciously speaking, that kept me safe and kept my body alive. That was the benefit. And I got connected with someone who also does intuitive work. And it was like one lifetime after another of being killed for this stuff. And when I talk to other intuitives, and I do a lot of healing work with my friends who are intuitive, this specific topic comes up quite often. So I wouldn't be surprised if there is some level to that, because you're like, well, if I'm in the public eye, if people really do see me for my authentic self and my true gifts, I'm not safe.
Right.
So there could be some layer to that. But we'll find out. But I think this would be a really good one to work on. Is there anything else you want to elaborate on that?
No, I feel like that's kind of my one thing that's always bothering me.
Okay. What do you want to be doing?
I want to be acting, singing, performing, writing, like just entertainment in general. Love to have my own TV show. I'd love to like kind of do like a Tina Fey situation, you know, where she's
Mhm.
directing, she's acting.
Yeah, I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And let me go into a little bit more. So I had gone into Brett's past lives in the past on TikTok, and they were really cool. And let me remind you, we really don't know each other. And it was interesting because I remember the first thing I saw was you, as like, it was kind of intense. You were on your piano, you're practicing. It was definitely Paris. And then Spirit was showing me being on stage, and you would always have these sold out concerts. And this was your thing. This was like your dedication and your passion, and you were very, very good at it. Um, and then I remember there was another one. What was it, like Oklahoma or something? It was a very poor life. And I remember seeing you kind of during this time. When was that? Like, I'm gonna have to refresh my memory. Like 1900s. I remember you were very attractive. You were so cute, like charming cute. I'm like, oh, if I was there, I would have been like cozying up to Brett. No, but it just had a different way of, it was basically like a different, how do I explain this? You kind of had everything you needed in the Paris life to succeed. You had all the resources. But then what happens when you don't have the resources? It forces you to go inside, and you still kind of found a way of expressing yourself. Because I remember seeing you kind of go into like this sort of dirt poor bar or something, and this piano was broken, and you went up to it, and you still found a way of almost channeling that inner creativeness inside of you. Like you felt like everything else kind of like went away, and you had that way of connecting into that spirit of yourself. Because I do think you're an incredibly creative, artistically creative person, just from what like Spirit was showing me on that. So I wanted to give some context to people watching this, because I have seen a couple of his lives. So here's what I'm going to do. It does take me, like I explained this before, but like 15 minutes or so to channel all this stuff. So I just kind of get relaxed, and then Spirit all of a sudden just dumps it into my brain, and then we'll digest it from there. So I'm going to do a quick pause, and we'll be right back. All right, I'm back, Brett.
Yay.
I got all the info. The 411.
All right.
Okay. So there is a lot. I got 2 pages. Oh, you can't really see it, but I got 2 pages worth of stuff.
Okay.
And the issues when it comes to the self-sabotage and dismantling versus procrastination, I mean, they're always going to tie in somewhat. If we wanted to go super deep into it, we could, but it seems like there's two conflicts going on. So we'll discuss all of them because it is past life related. But again, like there's always different things contributing to this kind of stuff, but we are finding like a root. So specific karmic imbalances and subconscious beliefs that we're running off of. So one of the things I want to explain again for the sake of this video is that when we come in through these different incarnations, basically what our experiencing, what we're going to experience not only comes from specific soul contracts and these timelines that we set up for ourselves, but it's almost this process of dismantling the subconscious beliefs that we're carrying with us. And what we want to do is we do want to listen and observe what's happening in our 3D reality because the universe is literally mirroring to you what your subconscious beliefs are. So once you start observing that, that's when you start changing the energy of it. You're like, no, I don't really like this belief anymore. I don't want to, like, let's move on to the next thing. So you have to make this almost a compatible relationship between the conscious and the subconscious in order to make that subconscious belief switch. And there's a whole process to that. But that's what we want to do today because you are running off these specific subconscious programs. One I've actually never heard of. It's a fear of going against the universe. So we'll get into that. There's also a subconscious belief that you are inferior to the power of the universe. And there's also a belief that, oh, here it is. Bad things happen when success is achieved.
I literally think that's so crazy.
Yeah. That one was running really heavy. So we want to switch that around because bad things are not going to happen if you achieve. You're just going to continue to be in this pattern of frustration over and over and over again. And it's like, I just believe so like wholeheartedly that people deserve better lives. And that's why I do this. And I know it can kind of trigger people when I say you are responsible for what's happening, but it's not to blame or punish. It's kind of to like wake you up and remind you of the very power that exists inside of you. And you're like, oh yeah, I am an ultimate creator. I can do infinite amount of things, but we may have to touch on some of these beliefs and aspects of myself that require healing. So we can move you out of that. So your 3D reality can reflect the very things your conscious mind says that you want. So what I'm going to do is take you down through some of these past lives. And it was fascinating because I went right into that life. We talked about the Oklahoma life where it was like, you were like kind of poor and stuff. And I was like, oh, okay. So this is why I was like getting this life. Now I saw you over the grave of your mother. And there was some conflict within the family because this is like a time like Dust Bowl time when people were like seriously, seriously dirt poor. So when we're talking like everyone is programmed in survival, this is like the ultimate survival life. So there was some conflict because the family, specifically the mother, wanted you to stay. Like there was some responsibility with you being the young man to take care of the family and all this sort of stuff. But you kind of weren't playing it. You're like, I don't want to. I want to go do this. Like it was almost like this draw towards California or something, or just maybe not California, but like someplace else outside of this dirt poor town, because you truly did hold the belief that you could do something better. Well, you decided to go do something. I didn't get the feeling you were gone for long, honestly, but your mom died while you did this. So you held this guilt that, wow, like if I actually do what I want to do and I succeed, like really, really bad things are going to happen. And there's just such a deep level of guilt over this mom's death. And it's unnecessary. And so in the healing, we'll release some of that stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I hold on to that because I still very much like think that that's
really
a little weird.
Yeah.
Because all my family work, and I always like feel very guilty, like, oh my god, if something happens and I moved, I'm gonna never forgive myself.
Mm,
So
yeah. So that whole situation is reflecting this belief acquired from that lifetime. And it's like, I mean, the truth is, like, bad things are totally out of our control. Like, things happen.
right,
So, but it's sort of a limiting belief saying, well, I can't do what I want to do while I'm here in the present time, because you can. If something happens, you'll take care of it. Like, you have the resources inside of you to do that, but you can't control everything by limiting yourself at the same time.
right.
So there are a couple, and we'll go through this, like, sort of affirmations that would be good for you. That is, I'm free to be myself. I am safe to be myself. And to really like feel
I'm
that.
free to
So, and I'll be sure I'll email you this stuff. So it's like, I am free to be myself. I am safe to be myself. And you really want to believe that. That's like the new subconscious beliefs that spirit's like, he's got to believe that. Got to believe it. Otherwise, these sabotage things are going to keep
yeah.
happening. So the next one was real.
Uh,
Okay. So we'll go into the next one real quick, because the procrastination I got was a little bit different. And this was like, I have not seen this. So this is like kind of cool. So I get excited about this stuff. Okay. It's a fear of going against the universe, which is interesting. Like, who's afraid of that? Reddit. So what they were showing me was you did have a life, and you were this like cute little adorable Chinese man, and you lived on your land, you lived near water. But I just felt like this was a very spiritually connected life, very different from where, like, the kind of the chaos we're living in now. It was just so centered in nature. So I would see you like on your boat, and you would just like connect to the universe. You even had this way of when you would fish, like you truly connected. You understood how that worked when you would fish, connecting with like the souls of the fish, like thanking them for being, your food. And you were so like, it was just, I mean, I would love to have that. I would love to be like that now, I'm like, wow, I do still function unconsciously sometimes. This was definitely not the way you were functioning. You were so conscious.
uh,
Um, so deep respect for the water, the land, the fish, but you were very careful about not inserting your own agenda into your life. But even though you were functioning consciously, you almost took it too far, and you removed the humanness out of it. Like, you were so afraid of going against the way the universe works that you would only allow nature to flow you, if that makes sense. I hope I'm describing.
yeah.
It's like you would do only what nature would tell
Yeah.
you to do. And you kind of went out.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you back, Brett?
You.
Okay, you're going out a little
Yeah.
bit.
I can hear you. Sorry.
Okay, good.
Wi-Fi. My Wi-Fi cut out. I'm
Yeah.
sure. Hopefully that works. If
All
not, I'll
right.
go.
Yeah, that's much better. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because it just kept going in and out. But anyways, what I was saying was you just really didn't want to insert your agenda into that life. You truly were about experiencing the universe through the physical and just allowing that energy to just take you wherever it was, where it was going. But then it's, again, this is where spirit will always make a full circle. They showed me back to your life as a musician, that life in Paris, just to give me the contrast, because you were really successful. But the thing is that there was some inner turmoil because you felt like you were pushing your agenda too much. You're like, I'm kind of going against the laws of the universe. And here's the problem with that. That created the subconscious belief that you're inferior to the power of the universe. it's kind of like you see the universe, but you still see yourself separate instead of being you are the universe feeling. So it's like they're saying he needs to feel, I go so fast, I can't read my own handwriting. He needs to feel that sense of one, that he is part of the universe. And to tie in these two lives together, creating harmony with the universe, bringing in your humanness, and it's okay to have an agenda.
Okay, I like
So,
that.
yeah. So the procrastination is like, it just goes back, this fear of going against the universe. You're like, well, if I insert my agenda, I'm creating my own blocks, but you're creating your own blocks by fearing you're going against the universe. So it's like this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But you need to start being okay with the humanist side. Like we all have agendas. Like we're here to experience the human life and have agendas.
Right.
Like I'm in the spiritual industry, but I want to make a lot of money.
Right.
But I'm going to be making a lot of money because I'm in tune with the universe. I'm in tune with my service. I'm in tune with myself. So it just kind of flows and flows and flows and flows versus me like being so afraid, oh my God, I'm not going with the flow. Well, no, you're going with the flow when you get those ideas.
Right.
When you get those passions and desires, what you were saying, like you want to be the Tina Fey, you want your TV show, you want acting, singing, performing, entertaining. Well, that's there for a reason. So you have to be okay with moving into that. And letting go of this idea that it's like you're outside of that.
Right.
You are one with that.
Right. That makes sense. That
Yeah.
totally...
So that's what I got.
Cool.
So here's what we're gonna do real quick. I'm not going to record the healing part of this, where I'm actually gonna stop the recording. So people watching this understand. I am going to take Brett through some stuff. The angels and guides work to clear some of this stuff up. So these connections to the past lives, we're going to insert new programs and belief systems into your subconscious right now. And I really want you to be able to feel that. I don't want to record it because it's kind of personal.
Okay.
So just so people know, so there is like the other end to it. But let me close this up because this was a really, really good example, Brett. So thank you so much for being you and putting yourself out there for this, because there is a reason why we experience what we experience. And there is a process through that soul journey throughout all these different incarnations. And it may not seem relevant, but it is. So I think it won't take much work for you to jump on the other side of this, because you are like crazy talented.
Thank you.
You just got to bring it out. So thank you for watching this. If you are interested in setting up a past life session, hypnotherapy, or even check out my program, The Alchemist, which is all about moving out of your shadows into the light so you can be your highest expression of your higher self and creativity, certainly check out Alchemist. It's such a good program, full of healing, fun. You work one-on-one with me. So anyways, be sure to like and subscribe. I'll check you at the new video.